Let's pay homage to the lineage gurus. Homage to the Venerable Mang Liao Ming. Homage to Master Sakya Tsung Kung. Homage to His Holiness the 16th Karmapa. And homage to Master Thupten Dorji. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. Homage to the main deity of Homa today. The 7th Buddhas hiking Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. Simu, Tansen Katso, Tutten City. All Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, directors of temples and chapters, and all disciples present here and over the internet. Good afternoon, everyone. How do you do? Now I would like to let everybody know for next Sunday on November 8th, 2020 at 3 p.m. there will be Ragaraja Homa fire offering ceremony. And this Ragaraja Homa, we all know, the mantra that's the mantra. And the mudra, Ragaraja mudra, it's like this. And his Dharma throne is a nectar vase where the lotus would blossom, and on top of the lotus there sit Ragaraja. This is very special. And if you recite Ragaraja's mantra 300,000 recitations, reciting Hom Cha Zi Hom Re 300,000 times. So it would you would comply to Aizen, which is Japanese. Which is so that Ragaraja would become like an intermediary, that if you want to reach spiritual union with the Yidam, that Ragaraja will help, will be accomplished. So whatever you wish for will also be fulfilled. So this is a magnetizing deity together with Guru Guli Buddha Mother. So Ragaraja for next Sunday, 3 p.m. I welcome everybody to register. Today we perform hiking Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva's Homa. I have said before, by chanting hiking Avalokitesvara Sutra for 1,000 times, as mentioned in the sutra, that all transgressions, all karma will be eradicated. And it also mentioned that the deaths will come back alive, and all crimes, all sins, all faults will be eradicated. And Grandmaster chant hiking Avalokitesvara Sutra every single day, never stop. And hiking Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva also helped me a lot. When I perform the marriage dedication, I chanted Namo Cao Wang Guan Si Yin Jing, which means Namo hiking Avalokitesvara Sutra. That was spoken by the hiking Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva. So once you have completed more than 1,000 recitations of the sutra, then when you wake up in the morning, you recite Namo Cao Wang Guan Si Yin Jing, which means Namo hiking Avalokitesvara Sutra 7 times in front of the altar. Then he would purify all the things that you would do on that day. I have mentioned that in the past that by chanting once, your head will be purified, and then your neck will be purified, the upper body purified, lower body purified, and the upper leg purified, and then the lower legs purified. And then lastly is all over the body is being purified. So if you can chant his sutra's name, just the title of the sutra, Namo Cao Wang Guan Si Yin Jing, which means Namo hiking Avalokitesvara Sutra, then your whole body will be purified. So if you meet contaminated or impure impure people, things, or a filthy ghost, you will not be affected. You will not be attached. Whether you are performing the red or the white rituals, which is either for the living, the sick people, or for the dead. So Avalokiteswara, hiking Avalokiteswara has many Dharma practices, and Ragaraja, which is next week, also has many Dharma practices, and the same for hiking Avalokiteswara. So today we had the Homa of hiking Avalokiteswara, and he is the Dharma Prince of the 7 Buddhas. That's the mantra, the Dharma Prince of the 7 Buddhas. It's not easy to become a Dharma Prince of the 7 Buddhas, and hiking Avalokiteswara is the Dharma Prince of the 7 Buddhas, and he's wearing a 7 Buddha crown, very rare. Most others wear 5 Buddha crowns. So, and that's the past 7 Buddhas, Dharma Prince. Today, before the Dharma teaching, would like to tell a joke to start. The grandma was flying on the plane for the first time. Grandma in Taiwanese is called Ama, and she keeps looking at the windows, and then all of a sudden she turned around and asked the grandson, "Is the plane flying?" And the grandson replied, "Yes." And the grandma said, "How come the wings don't move, are not moving?" And the grandson could not answer. So the flying of an airplane, the fact that it can fly in the sky, actually it is related to the air, to the qi. And the fact that a human being, or the fact that all living beings can be alive, it's all related to the qi, or air, or vital energy. So the first key point in Tantrayana is to practice the qi. For the inner Tantra is to practice the qi. And from this qi, you can observe your own body. Then by having qi, you would discover the power of your body. Without qi, everything else is gone. So in the past, someone asked the Buddha. He asked the Buddha, life, where is life? It's between inhalation and exhalation. Without breathing, for a few minutes, you would be gone. Therefore, the qi is very important. Qi, meaning air, breath, vital energy, and the mind and qi are in union. And what is the mind? And we often say the spirit or spirituality, the mind, are in union with qi. And when the mind and qi are in union, that is meditation. In any Buddhism, any Buddhist sect, they talk about the union of mind and qi to enter into the deepest meditation, samadhi. And samadhi is an extremely important thing. So now we will do the question and answer. Asked by Lian Hua Anqi, homage to the Guru Buddha, His Holiness Lian Sheng. My karma is grave. What is the fastest way to purge them? I wish to abandon the rebirth cycle and be reborn in the Pure Land. Lian Hua Anqi sincerely pay homage to Grandmaster. The fastest way to eradicate karma is an issue with everybody. Actually, let me tell Lian Hua Anqi, the fastest way to eradicate karma is to practice Tantric Buddhism, to practice Tantrayana. First, the body is purified. Second, the speech or mouth is also purified. And third, the mind is purified. When these three are completely purified, that would be the fastest way to purge karma. And Tantric Dharma, for each sitting of Dharma practice, we form mudra to symbolize the purity of the body. We chant mantra to represent the purity of the speech, and visualization the form of the yidam, visualization of the mantra syllables, visualization of the Dharma. There are many ways to visualize. If you can visualize the mantra syllables, or to visualize the Dharma or the yidam, that's the purity of the mind. By these three things of visualization, mantra chanting, and forming the mudra to eradicate your karma is the fastest way. So I have said that if you don't practice for the day, then you are a ghost. If you don't practice today, then you are a ghost on that day. Someone came to meet Grandmaster and she said, I have been a ghost for several times. I did not understand immediately. And then she said she hasn't practiced for several days. That's why. A ghost. I thought she's just celebrating Halloween. Actually, Halloween, there's a legend or the origin, because there was a tribe in England that because that day is where the ghosts would roam around, so they put on ghostly costume to scare away the ghost. So it's a kind of custom. So then later on it became Halloween, and now even in Asia it's quite popular to celebrate Halloween. So the questions asked by Lianhua Anqi, the fastest way to purge karma is if you practice your yidam yoga, or you perform the 4 preliminary practices. That would be the fast way to eradicate karma. Of the 4 preliminary practices, one of them is repentance, and that's to eradicate karma. And the great prostration is also to eradicate karma. To chant the 4-fold refuge mantra is to strengthen your faith. That's also to eradicate karma. And the mandala offering is to increase your good fortune and to eradicate your bad lucks. These 4 kinds of preliminary practices are very important. And the deity yoga or the yidam practice also very important. And then the inner tantric practices, the practice of the channels, slight drops, and qi. Because the channels are also karma. If you open your channels, then you eradicate karma. And light drops was originally a dirty thing, but it would be purified. So that's a way to eradicate karma. If you want to be free from the rebirth cycle, that's very good. Because once you're liberated from rebirth cycle, presently speaking, is the hope of every being here. Because we all know that rebirth is suffering. That was spoken by the Buddha and Tathagatas, that suffering is the ultimate truth. The truth of suffering rebirth is suffering. And moreover, the 3 lower realms, that's the incessant non-stop sufferings in the 3 lower realms. And in the 3 upper realms, they are also in the rebirth cycle. The human realm is not, there is no equality between happiness and suffering. If there's a little relief, then that would be happiness, but otherwise you would be pressured into, and that's suffering. So in the human world, we also have the sufferings of birth, growing old, being sick, and getting old. And then separation from loved ones, and to be together with the enemies, and not getting what we want, many kinds of sufferings. So the best way to eradicate karma, I have said to practice the 4 preliminary practices, to practice the Yidam practice, that would be the best way to eradicate karma, the fastest way. And if you want to the Pure Land, then you can practice the Amitabha Great Dharma. And True Buddha School also has the Buddhahood in 7 days. These all are the fastest, a very fast way to eradicate karma. The next question from Hong Kong, China. Lian Hua Wei Quan. Inviting our lineage Guru to compassionately teach us, please. On February 13, 2016, Grandmaster taught us that no one else can substitute our spiritual cultivation. If the score of our spiritual cultivation is only 60, Grandmaster can only barely deliver us to be reborn to the Pure Land. With the score of 80, then Grandmaster can deliver us. A score of 100, one can attain Buddhahood on their own. Sincerely, I would like Grandmaster to teach us how to obtain these scores, whether it is 60, 80, or 100. Your disciple Lian Hua Hui Qian bowed and prostrate. This is such a huge question. You want to practice until you get 60, 80, or 100. I just use an analogy of a student's score. 60 is just passing. 80 is not bad. 100, then you attain Buddhahood in this lifetime, in this body. You transform into rainbow light and you yourself attain Buddhahood. And what is Buddhahood in this body? That's like Guru Padmasambhava. Ishichogal also attained Buddhahood in that lifetime and that body. So the first and foremost Buddha mother of Guru Padmasambhava, Ishichogal, also have attainment of rainbow light. Several of them had the same attainment. Sri Shinga, Manjushri Mitra also had attainment of the rainbow light. So several of them had a score of 100. Sri Shinga, Manjushri Mitra, Guru Padmasambhava, Ishichoga all had the attainment of the rainbow light transformation. So they all got 100. They did not have any karma. The karma had been eradicated completely, and they generated bodhicitta to deliver innumerable sentient beings. So that's a score of 100. So 100 is that you can transform to become rainbow light and attain Buddhahood. And you generate bodhicitta and had widely delivered sentient beings. That's 100. And a score of 80, that their practice is not bad. It's already very good. And the development stage, they have completed it. And the perfection stage, and also has been completed halfway. The completion stage has been halfway completed. That's 80. And a score of 60, that you have gained spiritual union with your yidam, with your root guru, and with Vajrasattva. And of these three, you have to gain spiritual union with at least one, and that's 60. If you have gained spiritual union with the root guru can descend and guide you. If you have gained spiritual union with the yidam can also guide you to the Pure Land. If you have gained spiritual union with Vajrasattva, then Vajrasattva can descend and guide you to the Pure Land. That's a score of 60. So in the least, you have completed the development stages. That you have gained spiritual union with the yidam, but you have not attained any fruitions in the inner tantric practices. If you chant Amitabha Buddha's name until Amitabha Buddha and the Pure Land Trinity can appear in front of you to guide you, to meet you, that's a score of 60. So that's my answer about the scores. So question by Lian Hua Wei Quan. So what is the score of 60? Is that you have gained spiritual union with yidam, root guru, with Vajrasattva, with Amitabha Buddha. If you're in spiritual union with Amitabha Buddha, then Amitabha Buddha will definitely come to meet you. Like the grandma of Lian Hua Lian Mi, that she could see the red light of Amitabha Buddha. Then Amitabha Buddha will definitely appear at the moment of death and deliver you. That's the score of 60. In the least, that's what you should achieve. Question by Lian Hua Wei Quan. From Guangdong province of China, with no name. What, the Guangdong province can ask the question? The province. Zoom. In Zoom, I often see the disciple from the Anhui province. Every time she's there. So this is a disciple from Guangdong province of China. Grandmaster, how do we break a bad habit of masturbation? By doing Dharma practices or by copying the Sangata Sutra? This is also a big question. Most people, when they're young, they would do this. So when they're young, and married middle-aged people would be less frequently. The bad habit of masturbation is difficult to break because born as a human being, you carry your form by the semen of the father and the blood of the mother, and you also carry that habitual tendencies. But rational people should be able to. And Grandmaster, how to break this bad habit? you can use your work to replace it. Don't so that the thought of it does not come up. So you don't let the thought come up. Then you sleep on the like a dorm, like a bunk beds. They like fishermen also sleep at the bunks, like just on the straw mat. I was a military man. Soldier. Soldier. 是少校。I was a major. 是少校，我以前是少校。So I was a major before. When I was a soldier in the beginning, I slept on the bunks, I think. At that time, I was like a bunk bed. So I was 19. That was in college. When I was in college, military college for 4 years, 4 months. So you sleep in the bunker, in the bunk. So all your classmates around you. It would be impossible for you to do that in the middle of the night, right? And draw some maps, and then you have to wash your undies in the middle of the night. And of course, when it's full, you cannot contain it. There's nothing you can do about it. Because the light drops are full, then it would overflow by itself. And you would feel embarrassed, and you have to go and wash it in the middle of the night, without being seen by other people. And then you wear it again, even when it's still wet. You try to wring it as much as you can. So at 19, after 19, I wouldn't have all those thoughts. But before 19, I did. So how did I stop it? I put myself into work or exercise. So when you have that desire, you exercise or work. In the junior high school, the winter vacation or summer vacation, I always work. My dad told me to go work. During high school times, I would carry the electric poles. I worked until I was very tired, and then I had no time to think about it. And even in junior high school, at the vacations, I also worked. And when I was carrying that electric pole as a high schooler, and the people they saw that and asked, what happened? So why did your dad could let you? Because your dad is like a head of the department of the power company there. And how come you are carrying electric pole here? Because my dad wanted to train me. So I make use of the training and trained my body. And my aunt's husband is also a director of the Hualien City's power plant. I also work there at the repair shop. And my brother-in-law was the power company of the Kaohsiung management. I think the business relations director. And my uncle was also the director of the electric of the power company. So I played with all this electricity. So from junior high school to high school, for each of the vacations I had to work. So you use work to suppress it, and you use Dharma practice to replace it, to decrease the bad habit. And you can also suppress or replace it by copying the sutras. That in the daytime you work extremely hard, that you would be extremely tired at night, that you have no time to think of it at all. Immediately you would fall asleep as soon as you lie down, because this is a very bad habit to break, a very hard habit to break. So that's how I break it. That's how I broke it. I was a child laborer in the repair shop in the Kaohsiung power company. And then the leader was my neighbor. He's from the northeastern China, and he could speak Japanese because that was the Manchurian country, and he learned Japanese. Director Zhang. So I had the benefits to train my body. So by going through hard training, you would be able to break this bad habit. If you have too much time on your hands and you're not working out with your body, then your brain's starting to think too much. Question by Li Xiaojie from Taiwan. Ever since I was little, together with my parents, I took refuge in Tantric Buddhism. Now I'm 29 years old. I often ponder what the purpose of a human life. Under the pressures of work, social and family lives, and all those complicated stuffs, I'm unable to settle down to contemplate on this thing called spiritual cultivation. Subconsciously, I'm torn, and I have been thinking about rebirth and lifting my own spirituality, but I don't know where to start and how to put it into practice. Please provide your guidance. So have taken refuge since small, and now 29 years old. What is the purpose of a human life? The Buddha has told us is to play out our karma. So to let the karma play out amidst the 6 rebirth realms, that you have gained human body today, that's considered good. That's good enough. Because only in the human path you would be able to cultivate spiritually. In the heavenly path, there are too much pleasures and it's impossible to practice there. And because there's suffering in the human realm, then you would have the desire to cultivate. So you come as a human being to eradicate your karma. So you need to know that living as a human being is to eradicate your own karma. And how do you put it into practice? I have said it in answer to the first question. The fastest way to eradicate karma without rebirth, to be reborn in the Pure Land, is to do your Dharma practice. The 4 preliminary practices, the Yidam practice, you do them, that's the real practice. You start from taking refuge, you perform the 4 preliminary practices, you perform the Yidam practice, and then how to live your own spirituality. And torn subconsciously. You know, a human being would always have their own habitual tendencies. They would become lazy, they have bad habits. Laziness is a bad habit. Gambling is also a bad habit. Pornography is also a bad habit. Lazy and love to eat without doing anything, those are all bad habits. Grandmaster has willpower and perseverance. It's very simple. Grandmaster has written 282 books. Is there anybody in Buddha school or any leaders of any other religious groups that have written over 282 books? 282 books. It does not include Dharma teachings or transcriptions of the Dharma teachings. Those are books that I personally wrote with my hands. Every single day I would write. Never stopped. Never skipped a day. This morning, before coming to Rainbow Villa, I also wrote an article at home until 11 a.m. And then immediately I put on my outfit and then drove to the Deizang Temple. And then the Venerable Lian Qi drove me here, drove us here. So don't procrastinate. Even on Sunday mornings, I would write. And moreover, from Monday to Saturdays, every single morning I would write. And I get up at exactly the same time every day. I never stay in bed. And every night I would do my practice until 2 a.m. I perform Bardo deliverance. I do not dare to skip even a day. Every night I perform birth deliverance. If I don't do birth deliverance for one night, then I would have been captured by the ghost. All those ghosts are waiting for me. How dare do I stop? How dare stop? That's how I am. For so many years I have written. I'm very diligent. Did I ever take a day off because I have cold? Did I ever take a break from giving spiritual consultation? And you're still dragging around in your subconsciously. How come? If I have that, I would never have completed my writings or do my practice or painting. Every day I would paint. People wanted Bodhidharma paintings from me. I have painted over 20 Bodhidharma paintings. Now people ask me to paint celestial maidens. Oh my gosh. Bodhidharma was very rough. And celestial maidens are very fine. I force myself to write. So I have to leave the rebirth cycle. You have to have that kind of determination, resoluteness. Every day I would perform the treasure vase energy yoga. I practice qi every day. I have told you before that I can fly in my sleep every night. And how come I can fly? So by practicing qi, once you attain fruition, then of course you can fly. Because you can levitate, fly because of the air. And why would the plane fly? Because of the air. How can I fly at night? Because of the qi. I rely on the qi to fly. When I still practicing the qi, I often dream of myself on the top of the roof and then tried extending my leg and thinking that would I fall and die, and it turned out I become very light and this mist. So it was air, but it became like there's something that hold me up. And then I placed my other feet on it. Then I could levitate in the air. Then from then on, I started to be able to fly. Because you practice your qi. And the airplane relies on the air or qi. And I rely on the qi inside my body circulating so that I can fly. Therefore, I can fly. So for this Li Shao Qi from Taiwan, just settle down and follow and study from Grandmaster. That's a real practice. Then you will have attainment. There's someone that always work halfway. That's the worst kind of thing. During the Buddha's time, there was someone that especially the job is to place a mat under the Buddha's seat, and then he found it to be meaningless, and then he said, "I don't want to do this anymore." And then the Buddha said, "Okay, that's fine." But it turned out that he had to sit in a wheelchair for 100 lifetimes. And Devadatta, who had served the Buddha for 25 years and then said, "I quit." And he is in hell for 100 kalpas. So whatever you do, you should never give up. Grandmaster never give up in whatever they do, whatever he does, Grandmaster. But those people who quit halfway, please be careful, because then you would have a polios, or you would be on a wheelchair for 100 lifetimes. When I was little, sleep early and get up early is a good habit. And then when I grew up, I just realized that those are actually 3 wishes. Sleep early, get up early, and good health. Those are not just slogan or catchphrase, but those are 3 wishes. So serving the Buddha, if you only do it halfway, and you say you quit, you don't want to do it anymore, that in your future life, for future 100 lifetimes, you would be on a wheelchair. And the attendant to the Buddha for 25 years, Devadatta, and then he turned his back and quit. He was in hell for 100 lifetimes. My friend Ami's daughter, Xiaomi, has been single for a long time, just couldn't find a partner. And yesterday I went to Ami's house, and Xiaomi saw a man and a woman on the television eloping. Xiaomi asked her mom, "Mom, if I elope with someone else, what would you do?" And Ami stopped smiling immediately and seriously looked at her daughter. "If you elope, we want to move our residence immediately. You know why? Because we don't want that man to regret and return you back." Today we will talk about Lamdre. The 3 sights are seeing the palace of celestial Usnisha Vijaya, the celestial gods and the celestial beings dressed magnificently. One can guide others to see also. These are the 3 sights. So what is this, the 3 sights? When you practice qi, and reaches the crown, when you practice the qi and with the mind reach the crown, then you would be able to see the heavenly realms, the palaces of the heavens. And you can also see the celestial gods and also celestial youths and maidens dressed magnificently, very dignified, wearing celestial garments, don't need to be washed. The flowers never wilt. The palace is extremely magnificent. It's truly an enjoyment. One can guide others to see also. So the practitioner can guide or make other people to see the palaces in the heavens too. So three sights, meaning you see three things: the palace, the gods, and the celestial youths and maidens, and their beautiful, dignified countenance. And one can guide others to see also. Like 2 nights ago, this hand holding a woman and this other hand holding a man flying in the sky, then they would see the palaces of the heavens. So you can guide others to go to the heavens and see heavenly things. The first time I saw Golden Mother, that night I went to the heavenly realm. I went to the heavenly palace. If one dreams of this, it is called the dream sensation. There are 7 initial purification treatment or methods. So the dream, you can dream those things written above. That's called the dream sensation. Sometimes you see it in your dream, sometimes you see it in your meditation, and sometimes you see it with your eyes open. So the dream sensation are 7 initial purification treatment. So the dream sensation that you obtain after purification. And there are 7 kinds. Also, the blue-green Ni character of the calm mind Qi gathering at the human path is the spiritual experience of a human being, preferring and grasping on the 8 mundane ways. The dancer's behaviors and apparels vary. The mantra chanter can speak all kinds of languages and tell all kinds of stories, and the mind experiences as above. During meditation, the mind Qi gathering at the human path. So now you're not at the heaven path anymore, you're in the human path. That should be in the navel chakra. The character is Ni. So human beings prefer and grasp on the 8 mundane ways. And what are the 8 mundane ways? You can check your cell phone and the glossary. Would get attached to the 8 mundane ways. The dancer like to put on makeup, hairdo, changing clothes, and the mantra, which is in terms of the speech. If you can meditate in the human path, then you can speak all kinds of languages. Like you would know a lot of languages. That's also a kind. The science of language. Or the science of sound. Yeah, I said it right. So you can speak all kinds of languages or dialects. Like Taiwanese is a dialect. Mandarin is also a dialect. Or English, a little of Japanese. And you can speak all those languages. So you can grasp on speaking all kinds of languages and tell all kinds of stories. And the mind experiences. So the spiritual experiences appear on the mind as above. So that's still at the heart chakra. So if you gather the mind chi at the human path, that will happen. I love to speak in English.
But now in the United States, American, Washington States, in the Raymond, have the Raymond Lezang Temple. In the North Spain, have the Rumbo Lezang Temple. Every Saturday night, 8 o'clock, in Raymond Lezang Temple, have the ceremony. And Master Lu teach Buddhas. In Sunday afternoon, 3 o'clock, have the in Rumpo Lezang Temple have fire offering. Fire offering finish. Master Lu talk Buddha Dharma. 我也是乱编的。
That's my English.
I
just I can do this in Taiwan and people say my English is good. I can do it. I love just speaking it. It's very easy for me to learn English in Taiwan and not in America. How come?
Because in Taiwan, I see that Chinese language, I change the English. 我马上就讲英文。我看到扛棒。
So in Taiwan, every time I see boards and in Chinese, and immediately I just translated it to English and then pronounce it or say it in English. And then I would watch. HBO television.
television study English because HBO the movie is say English but have translate Chinese
Subtitles.
in the television. 我就可以学英文。
So I can learn English that way because in the HBO movies they speak English and then there are the Chinese subtitles. Then I can learn English that way. But here, the HBO movies have no subtitles, no Chinese subtitles. They're all English.
对不对？我们没有正式。
So I never studied English formally
最讨厌两个课，
because during my student years, my school years, I hated two classes. One is math and the other one is English.
活得很好。
But then later on, I worked very hard at math and I got better. I got really good. So, so how many is human life and how many have you learned and how many plus how many? It's a play of game of math. Wait. I learned calculus too
我也很喜欢日文。
and integrals. I also love Japanese.
口语我干。
I can understand a little bit of Japanese.
はじめて。よろしく。
Nice to meet you. First time to meet you. I love you. Let's go and get married. 我到日本哦，很奇怪哦。 It's very strange when I go to Japan. As soon as I landed in Japan, then I can speak Japanese. Very strange.
我都会讲。Moki Huruba。
I can say Moki Huruba.
什么是 Moki？
Monoki Huruba is bath.
Moki 就是储藏室。
Monoki is a closet. And Huruba is bathroom.
我以前小的时候就写阿卡敬体。
When I was little, I learned Akachinki Oisteru.
我喜欢看。这个字怎么会忘掉？母亚摩多摩萨西。
Oh, I love to watch Miyamoto Musashi.
满本五藏。
Yeah, Miyamoto Musashi.
这里在讲到景象三见，见人间的四大洲。
And here it talks about the
见人自见大比大而
the three sides are seeing the four major continents of the human world, seeing Magadha, seeing oneself with big nose, big ear, and such disharmonious body. And one can also get others to see also. If one dreams of the above, then it's the dream sensation.
接受在人道的时候，
So the spiritual experiences or the sensation when your mind chi
四大洲
is scattering at the human path, then you would be able to see the four major continents of the human world.
如中
The
部洲
Uttarakuru, Jambudvipa, Purvadiveda,
你可以看
and one more. The four major continents.
就是人，
And
不是人，人非人，
and you would also see a
非
non-human,
人，
not a human
可以看
beings,
到大比
a non-human
大
with big nose,
人
big
间有
ear.
很多的大比，像就是大比嘛。
There are a lot of those with big nose in the world, like the elephant.
人也有
Big ear, also elephant, And also human beings, many of them have big nose and big ears.
不平等、不平均的身体， 智能
Disharmonious
他人得见，你也可以带他人去
body parts.
人间
And you can guide others to see this also.
梦结束，
And if one dreams of the above, then it is the dream sensation.
有七
Also a total of 7.
七种，他已经跟你讲，景象三见，四大洲是一样，人非
So the 3 sets.
大比
4 major continents, the non-human, big nose, big ear.
另外还可以看到，一共有七种。
The total is 7.
好了，那今天就讲到这里吧。
That's all for today.
八，有两个人吵了一天，
There are 2 people that's been fighting for the whole day.
三
And one say 3 times 8, 24, and the other one said 3 times 8, 21. And they've been arguing for the whole day.
衙门
And finally they went to the local court.
3824的那个人拖
And then the judge said, just beat the one that said 8 times 3 is equal 24 and beat him for 20 times. And then that person argued like, he's the stupid one. Why did you beat me? But
说你不蠢，
of course you're more stupid because you could argue for the whole day with someone that said
告诉我们
8 times 3 equal 21.
讲话
So this indicated to us, don't
跟你讲，
communicate with people who is irrational
不讲理嘛，不讲理，你跟他吵，
or doesn't make sense, right?
酸得啊。
So why do you want to argue with someone like that? Just let it go.
两个原住民到
2 native people went to the mountains to pick coconuts, and then the younger brother immediately jumped down and then said, "Oh, what happened? 2 squirrels went to my pens, into my pens."
这样跳下来很危险。
And the big brother said, "But you should just climb down calmly. Why did you jump like that? That's very dangerous."
那个人就讲，因为情况太紧急了，不能慢慢爬下来。
But he said, "Oh, it's urgent. I could not just climb down very
太
calmly."
紧急呢？
Why?
不是
Why is it so urgent?
听到他们
Because I heard the dialogues of those 2
两个不要抢，
squirrels, and they said,
一人一半。
let's not fight around it. The banana is split half, and then the nuts, 1 each. 1 nut for each of us.
想象力，Om Mani Padme Hum。
Just use your imagination. Oh, Mani Padme Hum.